Jack sat in the cafe as some soldiers from the Ninth Fleet walked in. He glanced at them and went back to his drink. Dutch sat down, holding a strange dagger in his hand. I've been invited to be the prey in a hunt. The what now? The Yautja admiral came to me, asking me to be the prey for his grandson's blooding ritual. It's a manhood ritual his people have. Apparently, it's a great honor. Prey, as in his grandson will hunt you? To kill you? Dutch looked at the dagger and then stabbed it into his hand. It went straight through, but when he pulled it out, the wound was healed and gone. Something like that. Not to the death, to prove he could take me down. I have heard of this. My uncle did one a few years ago. My family has great respect for their culture. Wait, so you're just going to run around and let him pretend to kill you? Jack was getting confused now. Hell no. I'm not going to dishonor the hunt. I'm going to hunt him as well. If he is good, he will win. If he is not, I will tag him and take him under my wing to train him. He won't be a man before he defeats me. So we might get a new crewmate. Dutch laughs as Vasquez and Malcolm join them. What did we miss? Dutch is planning to get a pup. Dutch grinned and held up the dagger. Malcolm nodded, and Vasquez seemed confused. You're connected to the Yautja, and he is a Delta and son of the Admiral MacLeod. I just don't get it. What about you, Mal? What's so special about you? Mal grinned, opened a bottle of beer, and took a swig. There's nothing special about me. I have a military background. My cargo ship got a bug infestation, and after our rescue I switched careers. Dropship commander, Mal. You were a dropship commander. Dutch pointed it out as he ordered a pint. Well, mostly we just transported people. You transported them into the battlefield. Huge difference. No, it's not. It's still transporting. Jack grinned and looked at Vasquez. What about you? You have a military background that's easy to see. I'm guessing Marine? You know your way around tech and drones, so you were the tech guy in the platoon. Vasquez just looked at him for a second. You psychic or something? No, you just carry yourself like them beside your tattoo, which says, fight or die with the human skull in flames. That's such a Marine tattoo. And you prefer the military-grade hacker system. I don't know why you're here as a scout. It's like you don't care if you live or die. Just trying to get the most out of it before you go. Looks who's talking? You joined us with a suicidal look on your face. You just want to kill bugs, no scratch that, you used just to want to kill bugs. Stop trying to avoid the topic. Why did you join us? Why are we talking about it now? Oh, she is hiding from her ex or something like that. Get a job far away from something embarrassing back home. No, I'm on parole. This is my sentence. I'm either here or in Max. The company bought me from the slammer. Gave me a choice. Work for them or stay. I have 65 years left on my sentence. 65 years? What the hell did you do? Killed my CO after he raped my friend and tried to rape me. The problem was that I didn't even try to turn him in. I just dropped a grenade in his office. Killed him and wounded a few others in the blast. Wow, I didn't know. I'm so sorry. Well, he was an asshole. He waited until we were drunk, tied us down and had his way, then left us. The bastard was completely sober. He didn't believe women should be on the front line. So now I'm on the front line, proving that asshole he's wrong. And I'm fucking everybody I want because I want it. He more power to you. Suddenly, the ship jumped into light speed, and they knew it was getting real. The human soldier was sitting by a couple of tables, confused. Ah, look at them. They're so confused at the mess hall being rebuilt into a cafe with a droid maid. And seeing aliens walking unrestricted around. They saw Zula coming in as they spoke, and she looked around nervously. She immediately spotted John and came over, embracing him. Are you okay? Jack looked into her eyes, and she blushed and just kissed him. We can talk about that later. They spent a few hours relaxing in the cafe as more came to join them. Stories were always told, and the mood was getting high as they got closer. Old songs were sung, and jokes were shared. The Marines gradually joined them and learned they had been transferred to fill their ranks. About an hour before they arrived, they had to get ready. Jack stood with the crew as Malcolm was going over the ship. No drop today? They looked at the big screen, reviewing all the intel they had been given. No, you will land on the base hangar and move in from there. We are using droids and drones to feint a failed attack. Nothing they should be worried about before you reach the mainframe. So you, Kane, Sergeant Cato, and his men will sneak off and find the mainframe. So, how many droids are you sending to as a distraction? Malcolm grinned. As many as the 9th Fleet can spare. We are setting Vasquez up with the drones. She will be on Channel 4 and you and the squad will be on Channel 5. Your advisor is on 6. Now get back alive with the intel and keep the fresh meat alive. You want the song? Is water wet? Malcolm grinned as they got ready to board the ship. Kane winked at him. Did you get them in the thermal underwear? It took some explanation, but they finally understood. Move slowly, and the Karnans won't see you. He nodded and walked over to Kane. We got babysitting duty. Not good news for this mission. Sergeant Cato glared at him. We are Marines, and we are babysitting you. You might know how to deal with some bugs, but we kill aliens. Jack looked at Kane. Aura. Then, 20 soldiers answered with an aura, and Kane sighed deeply. You call your dad on this. I don't want to die for some asshole. Jack nodded as he put on his helmet and turned to Channel 6 to clear it up. Kane's brother had served with Jack, probably still in service, and he had promised him to keep an eye on his brother. Kane is a very competent and had served as special reconnaissance before he joined. He had mainly worked in the cleanup crew because Jack had put him in a safer position. Hey, darling, I need you to do something for me. I need to speak to somebody I don't want to talk to. What? Who would that be? He could hear Zula's voice being playful and full of life. I need to speak to Admiral McLeod of the 9th Fleet. Tell him it's Jack McLeod. Are you two related? I mean, he does look like you, just older. Wait, is he your dad? Or big brother? My father, and I think he put a babysitting squad on my ass. It will only get me killed. So, how was your day? Oh, it turns out Vara is my aunt, and Grahad is my uncle. It's been a full psycho soap drama for me, and I used to love those when I was young. 1 minute got to speak to your dad's bulldog. She put him on hold as the Marines looked at him as if he and Kane were civilians. Kane pretended not to know anything about the military and asked all the stupid questions he could. Suddenly Zula was back. I got him here. Have fun. This is Admiral McLeod. What seems to be the problem? The problem is the damn babysitter you gave me. I'm not in the mood to get in a shouting match with the Sarge. But if he thinks he is leading this show, then he will get us all killed. I need backup. Not a babysitter, Dad. Wait, I didn't give you a babysitter. I told Commander Wayne to send over somebody competent. Who did you get? Sergeant Cato. Is he competent? As a babysitter, extremely, but yeah, I tell him you lead the show. This Kane guy. How competent is he? Kane Ross? He was special reconnaissance before he joined, his Mike Ross kid brother. He is good as a backup. I choose him for a reason. Okay, son, I will send the message. By the way, who is Zula? If I survive this, I will let you meet her. She might agree with you on a few things. CYA on the other side. Will do. His father dropped as Zula came back. So, how did it go? Dinner with Dad when I come back. Okay with you? Not his home and he is human. Zula giggled at the thought. I would love to. Okay, you're on. Come back in one piece. Jack leaned back and took off his helmet. He thought he had put the plug in his ear as the ship started to take off. The sergeant suddenly held his ear as he received some new intel, then looked at him. Are you sure, sir? He is clearly a civilian. Delta? Are you sure? Yes. But, as you say, sir. Sorry, sir. Of course, sir. Then the Sarge turned to his men. New update. The VIPs are not who they say. He is not a package. He is the commander. And before you little girls get any thought, he is a former Delta, and that Joker is special reconnaissance. This is not a babysitting job. It's the real deal. Then he turned to Jack. Sorry, Lieutenant. We had the wrong intel. The other soldiers looked at him, and he just nodded. Just listen to us. We are the vets here. Yeah, you know how to protect us from gunfire, but these bastards are going to use bugs as weapons. Stay calm. Make sure the bug is dead before you move on. I'll take the lead. Kane is rear. If we run, you run. Got it. Yes, SIR. Jack touched the pad. Maestro. Music, please. The song, It's a Dirty Job, but somebody got to do it, started blaring on the loudspeaker, causing confusion among the Marines. Then they quickly caught one. This was the good luck song. The ship touched down briefly, but it was all they needed. All the men quickly jumped out and secured the pad as Curtis blasted the 2 turrets that covered it. As the ship circled away, they released a swarm of small drones the size of a football. They were packed with weapons and had a self-destruct function that could be used for kamikaze runs. Jack didn't stop to watch but moved towards the door and pointed at the lock as the men secured the pad and got ready to enter the base. Bugs don't like cryo, and neither does Karen. Launch a cryo grenade right inside and fire it with the launcher. Overlap thermal vision 50% more will mess up your vision. Signs until we have checked security. Go! The men didn't need more instruction, and they knew everything the intel could gather about the place. The moment the door opened, 2 grenades were launched, making the hallway into a cold, Arctic hallway. 2 Karen guards slowly tried to react but were quickly dispatched as they moved in. Further down the hallway, they saw 2 cages filled with 5 xenographs in each. Jack pointed at them, and they were quickly dispatched as they moved to the next door. It led to an open octagon-shaped room. The center of the room was an open hole that went several floors down. It was clear they were at the top level, the center. Jack tapped his pad and heated up the suits to room temperature. They waited as their tech checked for silent alarms, but there was only an alarm for malfunctioning environmental control. They moved slowly towards the stairs as 2 technicians ran past them. Kane followed them into the hallway and took them out before joining them. It would give them a few more minutes before the alarm went off. Kane then tagged the area to be cryobombed when all hell broke loose. They saw men running towards the other defenses as the drones were causing havoc outside. Suddenly, the roof started to open, and as they watched, a swarm of bugs flew up from the hole in the middle. Clearly, the base was built over a hive, and they were releasing the bugs to deal with drones. They ignored the outside battle, though they could hear Vasquez swear as the swarm emerged on the channel. Rico was leading a ground assault with a guy named Commander Rex. They were doing a tactical retreat as fighters lit up the sky in a dogfight. They kept the radio silent, just listening in for intel when Jack heard a familiar voice. Treasure chest 2 floors down, second hallway. Captain, on the bridge, same 5 floors down, only hallway. The ice cream shop is 7 floors down. Jack held up his hand and pointed to Kane, holding up 3 fingers. Assignment 3 is the ice cream shop, the environment control. Then, at Sergeant Cato, I gave him an assignment to secure the officers as he would deal with the mainframes. He pointed at 3 random men plus the tech and the hole in the center as he prepared for quick rappelling. The tech allowed them to glide down faster than running but not fast enough to gain hit damage. It was more like a gravity parachute. No need for stealth now. He then took out 2 cryo grenades and set them to detonate by impact. Kane did the same, and on a countdown of 3, they ran toward the center and jumped. Then, the men didn't hesitate as the swarm had already left. They all dropped 2 grenades and then used the rappelling to glide to their levels as they dropped down. The guards at the door didn't realize too late that something was coming, but their Karen vision had the weakness of being heat-based. The guards were dead before they landed and moved into the hallway. The moment they breached the door to the mainframe storage, the alarm went off, but it was too late. The 2 techs didn't even have time to react. We are in. Red Panda, do your thing. The tech started pugging in the transmitters as Zula began to download and check the net. Then, the tech started to go over the security programs they found. Fuck! Kane swore as they could hear fire. Bugs incoming. Ice cream shopping is a bust. They had a cold dump. The hive entrances are above the cold and coming up. We are aborting and joining the captain. Copy, secure your place, and do not get any scent on you. You're basically invisible to them, but if they can smell you, then they will come for you. Jack walked to the door and peeked outside. Are you secure here? Yes, sir. Did you check the vents? Put a motion detector inside them. They might be using ants in the vents. Ants? Fist-sized ant-like bugs with an acid bite. They come in thousands. Cry or fire for them. If all fails, retreat, too many to shoot, and they won't know how to turn off the download. Check all vents and the door. Got it. Yes, sir. Good. I'm checking the swarm. Lock the door behind me. Then he moved out as they locked the door, made his way to the center, and dropped a portable drone down. I got it, flying it down. Wow, look at that mess. How far do you want it? Vasquez had taken control of it as she guided it down towards the hive. All the way down, I want it tagging the entrance so a bomber can take it out. Then, send it into the hive and find the core. Let the big guns have something to target practice. Got it. Sending the location to Iceman. Jack, I'm sending you a location. Check it out. It says hatchery, but it seems to be a nursery. Nursery? For bugs. He looked at the display and saw the location. 1 floor down and 500 meters through a hallway. He started moving out. When he got to the hallway, he saw 2 dead guards killed by bugs. They had killed several bugs before they died. Are you getting this? He knew they could see through his feed and stopped by the first door. There were some big signs in Karen. His translator didn't understand it. It says, no bugs beyond this point. Nursery. She seemed a little worried and confused. They started to have a sneaking suspicion about what they would see. He moved into the hallway, where a few more children were being devoured. The bugs ignored him as he walked past them. The last door had been broken open, and he knew it before he saw it. The Karen nursery was just that. A large room filled with eggs was about 20 centimeters large, and a large swarm of bugs feasted on the eggs. A few newly hatched Karen were also being devoured by the bugs. He tagged the room and walked out. There was nothing he could do for them. Zula was very quiet as they both heard the communication of the fight around them. Jack felt weird. His suit kept him scentless from most bugs, and he was lucky they didn't use any that could spot him. He jumped over the rail and glided down to the environmental room. Most bugs were somewhere in the base now. There are only a few stranglers down there. He ignored them and went to the environmental room. When he arrived, he realized why Kane retreated. The Clarkin bugs were staring at him. 10 of them, he cursed. It woke Zula from her silence. Don't tell me you did something stupid. I did something stupid. We want the base. In one piece, if possible. Didn't you just tag the base for the bombing? Yes, but call it off. I think I can save it. I need to take out a few bugs. Those are Clarkin, you idiot. They can see you. Kane broke through the silence, and then they could hear him starting to run. He ordered the soldiers to stay put. This was a fight for the professionals. As Kane got out in the open hall, he had to run past the swarming bugs. His scent suit kept him safe from their detection, and he jumped into the hole, turning on the repelling unit to slow descent. Jack grinned and got ready, switching to explosive rounds. You cover my ass. I'm going to draw them out. He aimed at the largest of this giant mix of spiders and scorpions. It had a scorpion tail and claws, but the main body looked like a giant spider inside a turtle shell. Their many eyes followed his every movement, ready to pounce. He fired the first shot right into the largest eye, and the first Clarkin collapsed as the bullet exploded inside the shells. The first was always the easy one, and the other reacted immediately by spreading out and holding a claw up in front of them as they started to move around. He might be lucky to get 1 or 2 more before they pinned him down. He could see how they moved slowly around, giving him the false impression that they were slow, but they were listening, trying to sense him. He tagged another and knew they pounced when he shot, so he got ready. He fired and jumped before he saw the result. 3 pounced at where he had been and then quickly jumped after him. He jumped when he landed and left a grenade as a gift for the one coming after him. It blew off 3 of its legs but still came after him. He saw one of the bugs had moved to intercept where he was landing. He hated intelligent bugs, so he fired a grenade at the bug, which bounced off the exoskeleton before blowing up. The blast turned the bug upside down, and he used the chance to get in a chute, killing it. When he landed, he realized he had forgotten the bug coming behind him, but it landed next to him with a hole in its shell. That was 3, only 7 left. He tried to spot the closest one and saw it just as it lunged its tail at him. He blocked it with his gun and twisted his grip to fire right at the bug, killing it. The others were stopping now. They had only seen him and 4 had died. It was almost as if they were discussing what to do, planning their next move. Cain slowly landed next to him. Not dead yet. Not yet, not for lack of trying. There is 1 on the ceiling at 5 o'clock and 2 at 3 o'clock behind the pillars. That leaves 3 unaccounted for. They looked down and saw a shadow growing, and both jumped as they fired above them at the 2 bugs falling on them. The bugs didn't gracefully land and didn't move. Cain, the room now. Be aware of ants. I'll deal with these. You just got to solo them. Don't you? Hogging the kills to impress your elf. Is that what he is doing? Are you trying to get killed to impress me? Zula's voice seemed serious, yet she had a tone of playfulness. Cain gave him a thumbs up and started running towards the environmental control room, sparking one of the bugs to chase after him. Jack aimed and took a deep breath. Now! Cain jumped aside as he fired, and the bullet entered the shoulder joint and exploded inside the shell, dropping the bug. Cain didn't stop to check but moved towards the door. Jack jumped forward, gliding over the middle hole as a bug pounced at where he had been standing. He tried to fire back, but the shoot missed, and he had to focus on landing as he saw the other bug come towards him. He decided to change tactics and started to run towards the bug, who stopped, confused. He used the second of confusion to fire into the eye and kill it. He turned to see the last bug just looking at him. Then it started to move away, and he looked as if it had vanished into the cave entrance of the hive. He went to the environmental room and found 3 dead Karens and about 100 dead ants in the vent, frozen by a cryo grenade. -10 degrees okay? -15 degrees Celsius should do the trick, warned the others. Cain turned the switch and grinned. You put 20, didn't you? Intel said the Karen survived down to 25, but they should just go into hibernation and the bugs. Well, who cares if the bugs die? Jack nodded and asked for a report. The base seemed under control, and the bugs and Karen were stopping moving about. He sent the base secure signal, which triggered the full fleet to jump into the system, and the planetary fight went from a stalemate to over. Suddenly, the fleet stopped holding back and came in full force. The sudden appearance of a fleet 5 times their size broke the Karnan fleet that, in desperation, turned to suicide runs that were quickly shut down. Several ships were captured with the help of the Shottlein, and within 30 minutes, the fleet was neutralized. Grahad was on the bridge going over the scans when several ships emerged from the surface, trying to reach the safe distance to jump into hyperspace. Don't let any escape and find out who they are. His second-in-command checked the scans. They come from the Karnan settlements. Civilians trying to escape, I would guess. Don't worry, none will escape. He watched as the ships were captured one by one as the planet was secured. If they had an escape route, then all these ships would have a destination. That would be this fleet's next target. This was just the beginning of the war.